Hello, this is Sandra. I'm here today with a short video that goes along with our math art activity unit. I will leave a link in the file section, or I'll post below where you can find it, to the activity we're doing today. If you have the complete unit, we are looking at the Sierpinski triangle and the Koch snowflake. Okay, so the directions are in there, but if you want a video that walks your kids through how to do this, here it goes. And I want to start just with a very short introduction to what a fractal is, because a huge portion of this math art unit is built around fractals. And the idea of a fractal is that you have a repeating shape. It can either be repeating exactly or the general shape of it is repeating. That whether you're zooming out or zooming in, you see the repeated shape going on. So a lightning bolt is a good example of a fractal because you have the basic zigzag pattern, and then off of that, if you can find a photograph of an actual lightning bolt, you can see it has other zigzags coming off of it, and then smaller and smaller. Every piece has more and more, but it's that general shape. This often happens with cracks in the sidewalk as well. It comes off in kind of a fractal-like shape. You can see ferns are a classic example because you have one stem with multiple lines coming off of it. And then on every one of those, there's a smaller, like a miniature fern coming off. And then every one of those has a miniature fern coming off. So that's the idea of what a fractal is. Let's dive in today and take a look at how we would draw our own fractal shape in what's called a Sierpinski triangle. Okay, so we want to start with a large triangle and then draw the midpoint. You can just eyeball it on every side of that. It helps if you start with the equilateral triangle, so they're all the same size. Go through and connect the midpoints so that you've formed a smaller upside down triangle within it. So this right here is a fractal. We have the same shape repeated at a smaller scale. What we're going to do to make this masterpiece, this artwork here, is every single time we draw a triangle, we're going to create 4 triangles. And then we're always going to leave the middle one empty and repeat the exact same process in the outer 3. So what that would look like here is draw an upside down triangle here, here, and here, but leave the middle one empty. Now, every single one of these now is the same exact pattern as the larger version. So here we want to draw an upside down triangle in each one of the outside ones, but leave the middle one blank. If it's hard to eyeball it, you can draw the midpoints of each side and it will make it more accurate. The more accurate it is, the better it works out in the end. Now, in each one of these, you have 4 triangles. We're going to leave the middle one blank. Draw our upside down triangles. And we're going to do that in all 3 outside ones, okay? So I'm going to show you, pause the video and show you the completed version here. Okay, so here is a version of a completed process. You can keep going as many times as you can fit the triangles in there. And it's really neat to see if you can do 4 steps or 5 steps of this. I would love to see your pictures, so feel free to take pictures and drop those below so we can all see your masterpieces that you've done with this. And one of the amazing things to note here is if you were to take a ruler and measure the lengths of every line inside of this and then add them all up, you would be surprised how large of a number you would get. So this is one of the main features of fractals that's made its way into medical technology, into art, into cell phones. It's actually matches, it mirrors what happens inside our body with our veins and with our lungs. We have so much, the distance of our veins, if you would lay it all out, it extends for miles or kilometers. Within cell phones, I don't know exactly the word for it, but you can get a lot of surface area inside of something by using fractals because you're fitting smaller and smaller things, but you have a lot of perimeter going on in there. So that's a little intro. There's a lot more about that in the course and in the activities, but there's a little intro into what fractals are, how to draw a basic one, and how it's useful. Now I want to give you a quick example of how to do the Koch snowflake. It's a similar idea, but it makes a snowflake pattern. Okay, for this one, you start with a triangle, but instead of drawing the midpoints, you, kind of the best you can, draw dots at the third points. Then, off of every one of those, you draw a triangle, okay? And then just keep repeating that same process. So off the side of every new line that you drew, divide it up into thirds, and then draw a triangle coming off of that. And then off of those lines, let's do a different color. And then you can keep going. You can draw off of those, you can draw more. So you can fit in so much, enlarge the perimeter infinitely just by using this fractal structure. Okay, so I'll quickly show you what the finished version of this one looks like. Okay, so this is 3 layers of the iteration process. You can keep going, you can draw it a lot nicer than this if you actually use pencil and a ruler. But again, I would love to see your work with this. So if you draw something like this and want to share a picture below, we can see your work and say thank you for participating. Okay, so thanks for watching this, and I hope you and your kids are all having fun with the math art unit this month.